Mags on Media, let's take a look now at some award-winning photography, all produced, would you believe, by using iPhones. The 11th Annual iPhone Photography Awards saw photographers from more than 140 countries submitting their best work. The awards consist of 18 categories that demonstrate the creative capabilities of the handset. Bangladeshi photographer Jashim Salam taking home the grand prize for this image. It's entitled Displaced, depicting children in a Bangladeshi refugee camp gathering to watch an awareness film about health and sanitation. It is a powerful piece of work. Now, in the age of content marketing and social media, public relations is still seemingly alive and not about to die anytime soon. That's a strong statement of intent from public relations agency owner Fabrizia Degli Esposti. So why, as many lament the death of public relations, does she value the discipline over perhaps more traditional marketing platforms? A very warm welcome to you. So make the case. Why is public relations so important?
I really have to defend my honor here. Thank you very much for the opportunity, Jeremy. I think there's a space for all disciplines. PR is just one arm of the marketing mix, and done correctly and used correctly, it can be used together with advertising, with social media, with media drops, the good old traditional media drops. Relationships with the media are still very, very important, examples of which we can see in many of the case studies that we have on our plate at the moment. So it's PR still alive and kicking.
But it's been eclipsed, surely, by social media.
It has. But also what PR has done is it's involved social media in what it does. And I think that is one of the most important things that we need to do, is to evolve to use the current methods. Often
with negative and detrimental consequences. Shall I say it first? Bell Pottinger.
Yes. Look, it needs to be used correctly. It can't be used to voice personal opinions, and that's the personal opinion of the agency. It can't be used to voice the personal opinion of a brand. It really needs to stick on point, and it needs to stick on the campaign point. And again, it needs to be part of a marketing mix and follow through the whole 360-degree picture of one campaign.
So if I'm a brand, do I go to a public relations agency because I'm in trouble, I have a crisis to manage, or is there perhaps a more positive attribute attached to it?
You can use it for the two. So I think the best thing for a brand to do is to have a very strong relationship with their PR agency, because that agency is going to be there through thick and thin. It's going to be a marriage. So when times are good, the agency is going to be there. When times are bad, the agency is going to be there, and it's going to help you get through those bad times. So I think there is still definitely a place for the good and the bad that happens with a brand.
How should it work then in tandem with other marketing disciplines like advertising, for instance?
Work together on the plans.
Which hasn't always been the case. There's always been a Cold War between the two. That's changed, has it?
Yeah. Exactly. It has changed, and what you see now is advertising agencies actually having integrated PR agencies within their premises, which is fantastic. That happens with the bigger agencies. You'll find that with the Ogilvies, the Saatchis, the likes of those. So their PR agencies are integrated, but I still think that there's space for the little agencies to still come in early on an advertising campaign and work together with the advertisers and the brand.
Pull a case study for me, something that springs to mind that you think has seen that synergy between pure advertising and public relations work.
So Nando's has always been fantastic, usually tongue-in-cheek. Advertising, usually very reactive to what's happening at the time. But what they did is they actually fought for the rights of many South Africans, and it was the Write My Name campaign just before Human Rights Day on the 21st of March. And that was a brilliant campaign which was seamlessly executed.
But led by good advertising.
But led by good advertising.
Where did public relations slot into that?
So public relations slotted in, and I speak on behalf of the agency, and I haven't spoken to them personally, but from what I can see, and also having been on the receiving end of some of the media drops on behalf of some of my clients, it was just seamless from the beginning of the campaign having been announced to the relationships with the media. So with the Sunday Times, they actually went out, I think it was on the 11th of March, with all the names that were incorrect, underlined with red, jagged lines. That was just perfect. That was definitely part of the PR.
It was a salutary lesson, I think, for the media in getting people's names spelt correctly. Just a final one. We have this concept now called influencers. Yes. I don't buy it for one moment. I think it's a rip-off. Convince me.
So I prefer not to call them influencers. I prefer to call them personalities.
So just by definition, these are people that would act on a brand's behalf on social media. Am I
exactly.
correct? Yeah. Okay.
They are influential, yes, but they are personalities in their own right. I still see celebrities and personalities as different. Celebrities are somebody that lives in the media eye. They're on TV, they're on radio, they're musicians, they're artists. Whereas a personality lives a somewhat normal life, sometimes has a 9-to-5 job, but just happens to have a flair for content creation. And in doing so, they become influential. They are approached by brands.
With what purpose in mind, though?
To push a brand's message, or to push a brand or a product or a service.
But if they're getting paid for it, they're not going to have an objective opinion. Sure.
See, that's the thing. And that's something that I always advocate with my clients, is you have to have a natural affiliation to that product or to that service or to that brand. Otherwise, it's going to fall flat. And you also can't be representing 5 million brands at the same time and still be influential or credible.
Just very quickly,
yes.
What does that natural affiliation with a brand mean?
So say, for example, you naturally use a particular brand of soap. And that's what your friends know, that's what your family knows. Now, if you start using a competitor brand of soap because they're paying you to do that, it's not going to look natural, and it is going to look forced. You have to have a natural affiliation. You can't all your life wear one particular brand and then all of a sudden start wearing another brand because they're paying you.
Because it's all going into your wallet. Fabrizia, thank you very much indeed. It's an interesting insight. Coming up on the programme, a Heritage Month survey reveals how South Africans prefer to drink their afternoon cup of tea.